All right, guys. So we're going to be using this 3-card spread, right? But I realized, like, for doing this, I have to, like, add more things to it, right? Because it's just too vague with the past, present, future. And we know we're looking at one area of your life. And usually when we do this for clients, we only do 3 cards to look at one specific area at a time. Well, I decided to add an internal and an external portion to see how you were in the moment personally, and then the external, how it affected your surroundings, your environment, or how your environment affected you, right? So we're going to go ahead and start with the past energy. So in the past energy here, you had the Page of Wands. So there was a lot more excitement. There was news. There was some passionate energy going on. I really feel like there was something small but, exciting still that was initiated in the past. I really feel like this is communication, though. For a lot of you guys, the communication with this individual, communication period. But this still could be news. This still could be trying to not bring up, but be more creative in some ways. So I am getting a lot of creativity here as well. For the present moment, you do have the Knight of Cups. So this is somebody you already know. So this is an individual that comes up either as a friend or someone that that is your ideal partner. But typically when the Knight of Cups comes up, they are somebody that you already know. I do get this feeling, though, that they are very romantic. They say a lot of wonderful and nice things. But you have to, pretty much weigh their emotion, weigh their words with what their actions are, because they say a lot of things, but they don't actually have a lot of doing, boosting that up. For some of you guys out there that are dealing with somebody that is kind of unreliable with how they, with their words and everything. But this person is a very romantic individual. They're very charming, and they come to you with this open cup, like they know what they want, and they are just very expressive about how they say it. And it's very, very romantic in itself. This is the ideal partner as well. For those of you that don't have anybody in your life at this time, I feel like the Knight of Cups could potentially be talking about what you are settling on or figuring out exactly who this person is. Who's your ideal person for you in regards to developing a relationship with the individual or with anyone. Who's your ideal partner for the time being, right? Who do you feel would match you and complement you in a relationship? Now in the future, leading on, you have the Emperor. So this could very well be a significant age difference, because you go from child, teenager, then really old adult, right? So Emperor here, I mean, he's old. We all know that, but it's all right. It is what it is. It's showing us a significant age difference, or honestly a level of maturity. That's what it's pretty much presenting to me. So I feel like there is some premature actions possibly, and there's some development and there's some sort of maturing here. Now with the Emperor, though, I do feel like there is a bit of control. There is something that you're settling into, or someone that you're consulting in the present could be very stubborn. Turns out they could be very controlling on what they decide to do, or you could be very stubborn in yourself, Libra, and you may not want to compromise on certain things. You shouldn't have to, right? Especially if it's something in regards to your morals. So there is some stubborn energy coming up here in the future, and we're going to go ahead and delve into this a little bit, going back to the past. Page of Wands, something new, exciting, something that's super major, but something that's small and can initiate a new adventure. You have the Star here internally. I feel like this passion, these two go hand in hand when it comes to, starting anew and really finding hope and like rebuilding hope and healing from old situations that may have fallen through. So I feel like this Page of Wands is the excitement, is the enthusiasm needed to really move your vibration up to where you can be hopeful in the present, or hopeful in regards to something happening passionately, something exciting, something that could lead to something really engaging. So I feel like you felt more hopeful in the past with this Page of Cups, Page of Wands rather. You felt more You felt more capable of doing things, I feel, with the star coming up. And externally, you had the Seven of Swords. This is honestly taking a risk, because especially when you're healing and you're trying to, you know, get back on your feet and you be able to, you know, jump into a project or something like that, or even a relationship or go on a date, that's putting yourself at risk, especially when you're in the process of healing. So I really feel like it's not avoidance. I feel like you wanted something passionate, you wanted something exciting, and you have it, and you went out of your way and stepped out of your comfort zone before you, perhaps you felt that you were ready, and went ahead and, you know, expressed yourself and got to know this individual and started something here. Because this is, again, I feel like this is really taking a risk more than anything, Libra. And since we are moving over to the present here, you have the Knight of Cups in the present. So I really feel like with this energy here, moving into your internal, which is the Hangman, yeah, you're trying to figure out exactly who this ideal person is for you in regards to relationships. Is this someone that you can rely on, someone that is romantic, that's sweet, that's supportive? You know, you're really making sure that you're hitting all the dice. But I feel like at the same time, you are stuck in limbo, because you're having to see a situation or see this individual from a different perspective. So currently you're having a hard time making any moves, because there isn't really, you know, you're still having to see something from a different perspective. You're still not sure about which way to move forward. And I feel like the ideal person that you have to look for, or the ideal person that you're looking for, yeah, you have to come up with a new way of thinking, or some sort of an idea of who this person is for you, right? But release it, because the Hangman is about surrendering and releasing. Because when you release, after the Hangman, you have Death, which is releasing and making space for things to come in, right? You don't want to hold on to the expectation. You want to hold on to that wish, because when you hold on to that wish, you keep it from manifesting. You hold it steady. You hold it tight with your grip, and you don't mean to. You just want that to happen, right? You really want what you want. Nine of Cups can very well be you, Libra, where you guys are really focused on what you want, and you really want that thing. You really are trying to find, and you're going forward with love, with intention. But I feel like the Hangman is saying you have to release what you want. You have to release that whatever you have in your heart, whatever desire that you have to release it. Not to let it go and forget about it and not want it anymore, but you want to know that, hey, if I want this, I can get it, and allow yourself and the universe to take actions and steps necessary to get you to those things, instead of focusing so hard on it. And like I said, I am very guilty actually of this. I do this all the time. When I'm wanting something, I'm like, nah, this is what I want. This is what I want. I'm very certain about it, very clear about it, but I don't let it go. I don't release it. I don't allow time and energy to flow through me, and to kind of let myself relax and do the things I need to do to be able to handle it. And I'm not saying that you guys are caught blocking yourself, but I am saying that the situation is going to require you to release what you're desiring, so that way it can become possible that you want it. You're manifesting big time. So I really feel like if you release what it is that you want, just let it, know that you'll get it when time comes, and you're going to do everything that you can physically and emotionally and spiritually to hype it up, not necessarily hype up your vibration, but to bring your vibration up to manifest this things. You'll be able to get out of your the limbo, I feel. Now with the Hangman, with the Ace of Wands in your external energy, you do have a new beginning, and you see that, and I feel like there is a new adventure on the horizon, and it's affecting you in a big way, right? This Hangman energy is personal, it's spiritual, it's internal. So you're internally blocked, or you're internally holding, being held upside down at this time for a new perspective. And this new perspective potentially has a lot to do with the ideal partner, what you want, and focusing on what your heart's desire is. But there's a new adventure on the way. So there is something that you can shift your focus to at this time. You don't want to just focus on what you want. You want to go ahead and make the action necessary. And I'm not saying you guys aren't. But the Hangman is asking you to release it, so that way you can begin something new, so you can start something new. And it sounds really exciting, okay? Now, for some of you guys as well, this could be the Hangman energy. The Hangman energy could be coming up because you're not sure of pursuing a relationship with somebody that you're not 100% sure you could trust. And that's the hard part, right? I feel like you guys are potentially waiting for them to prove themselves. You could be waiting for this individual to prove themselves, to prove that they are worth the time and the effort that you're going to be going into, or really just beginning something new with them. It's passionate, exciting, etc., right? They're very romantic. They really know how to say the right things, but can they deliver in the department of stability and support? Because the Knight of Cups, they can say a lot of things, but they can be a little wishy-washy. This very well could be you too, Libra, but I don't feel this way. I don't feel like this is you. I feel like you guys are really focused on what you want, but the hard part is that getting it, is that that is releasing what you want, releasing it so that way you can get it. I know it's really crazy and weird, but that's just how the universe pretty much works. But for some of you guys, this is about trusting the individual. You may not trust this individual, but you may have to release, certain perspectives to be able to see the individual for who they really are, for how they really are, and allow them to prove themselves, whether they're trustworthy or not trustworthy. This is a new adventure anyway, and it's going to require you to be more open. It's going to require you to be open-minded, or open to taking this step in this, direction with this individual. Now, going ahead to the future, you have the Emperor here, which is staying very stern, being very stuck in the energy. Not necessarily stuck. Honestly, the Emperor is not stuck energy. He's very stubborn, but he makes things happen. He has his own way of doing something. He's very methodical in how he moves and what he does. But he only does what he wants to do because he's very certain and knows that his plan will work, or he's very certain that his plan will work. Okay, he could be, like I said, he could be very stubborn, but it's also finding your power. This is also feeling empowered in yourself, in your ability to execute certain tasks. Internally, I feel like you may be having a hard time making a decision about this individual here. This could be an Aries, which makes sense. If the King of Wands came up earlier when we were shuffling, the Emperor could indicate here that there's an Aries that you're not sure if you really want to continue or move forward with. And I feel like really you may have to take control of a situation that may be difficult to handle. You may not be sure what to do, or what you may be sure what to do, but you don't know if you really want to do it because it's difficult, right? It's a very difficult situation. Considering that externally you have the Five of Pentacles, that's showing that struggle, that's showing that's feeling left out in the cold. Yeah, it's difficult in itself right there. So if you're internally not trying to, you're internally feeling kind of, stuck and making a decision, it's going to require you to just to put the swords down and honestly handle the situation. That's where I think the control comes in the future. So something that happens where you may have to just be like, hey, you know what? As difficult as this decision is, we're going to just rip off this Band-Aid and go ahead and take care of this, because there's a lot that's lacking here. There's a lot that needs to be changed. You're not feeling supported, Libra. You're not feeling like you have someone has your back. But it doesn't mean that there isn't any sort of support or any sort of care, any sort of compassion. Usually when the Five of Pentacles comes up, there is something there, but it's lacking. It's not a lot. And that's why it's considered the poverty card, because it shows what you don't have a lot of. You have a relationship, but there's no cuddling, there's no romance, there's no physical home. You have, but you have a home in your heart. You have, a church that you could go to, but it's not yours, right? You have shelter, but it's not your shelter. It's still not yours. It's still like something that's lacking. So I feel like honestly the Emperor could be that you have a difficult decision to make about someone that's very hard to compromise with, or somebody's being very difficult in regards to compromising, especially with the Five of Pentacles there. There could be difficulties in trying to figure out how to even the scales, or at least try to get some sort of balance. There could also be that there is a need for you to take control of the situation, or take control of your portion of the relationship to help you pretty much overcome this Five of Pentacles energy, because there is a lot of change that needs to happen here, especially when there's things that are lacking. And the future looks very, very difficult, but it's one that's going to show you your power altogether. This individual could have an age difference, could be significant, a significant age difference, but it's still nothing you can handle. There's nothing you can't handle, rather. Wow, okay. Act as if your partner is there. Okay. Interesting. So it says here, whether you have someone in your life or not, act as if they are with you, so you will always consider them. And that's what we were talking about with the Knight of Cups, right? Figuring out who your ideal partner is, and then making this steps to get, go after it, starting a new beginning, releasing the expectation. I honestly feel like with taking control, especially with the future there, I feel like it could be indicating that you may have to be the person that goes and initiates some sort of proposal, or some sort of dating of some sort, working through the problem, or making yourself more known, or stepping up and being the bigger person, and going ahead and making your asking the person out on a date, pretty much. Because with the Knight of Cups and act as if your partner is there, that is totally asking you to figure out what it is that you want in a relationship. What do you need from the individual to feel supported and still feel cared for in the relationship? Because you go from the Knight of Cups to the Five of Pentacles, which shows that, hey, you at least had a little bit of support here. You possibly had the idea of support, and then now you actually don't have any real support. So what do you need to do to make sure that you do get support? And it's maybe difficult to confront that person or the individual that's not providing you with the support that you need, but at least you're making progress. So that's why there is a need for you to be the boss in the situation. At least the boss of yourself. Not the boss of the relationship, but boss of yourself. And as long as you make sure that you're handling yourself, that I feel like, honestly, the compromising thing may be that you don't compromise at all. You just stand by your truth and you make it happen. Because I feel like you have two options here, and either one of those, those are your truths, right? So you have to put down one of these swords and really just utilize it to get your relationship back in line. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some action being put forth, but I feel like you can definitely do it. This is your chance to show yourself that you do love yourself, and you want the relationship to work, and you love the individual enough to make the relationship work. But you have to know what you need first in the present. What do you want, especially, as well, and then release it. Go on this path and really work on making, not necessarily forcing if you're already in a relationship, forcing the individual to be the person that you want, but showing the individual of what you feel that you need out of the relationship, whether it's support, whether it's being emotionally available, whether it's being more romantic and being more interactive with the relationship, right? You may have to, that's the path that you may want to start. Well, that's the path that you're starting anyway, but showing the individual where what you were looking for, I feel like that's the course of action. It's going to get to a place where you're going to have conflict a little bit, and you have to straighten some stuff out, but no relationship is strong without conflict.